Meditation is a great way to find a tranquil mind as well as your center as a person. Some archaeologists date meditation back as early as 5000 BCE, according to Psychology Today. The practice itself has religious ties in ancient Egypt and China, as well as Judaism, Hinduism, and of course, Buddhism. In today's world, meditation is estimated to be practiced by almost 500 million people worldwide. Some of meditation's benefits include gaining new perspective on stressful situations, building skills to manage your stress, increasing self-awareness, focusing on the present, reducing negative emotions, increasing imagination and creativity, and lastly, increasing patience and tolerance. Given how it has a cultural lure, history, and psychological benefits, it's pretty simple to understand why millions of people are roped into it. But the most annoying question that I have to ask is, why is it so hard? Just like anyone, before I got into meditation, I had a lot of built up anxiety and fear, and I was looking for a way to ground myself by figuring out why my emotions were so complicated and profound. When I finally mustered the courage to start, it was a very earth-shattering experience for me because I couldn't get my mind straight to focus for at least 5 straight minutes. The emotions that I experienced first were anger, then disappointment, because I was just not convinced that it was as easy as people set it out to be. After a while, I thought to myself, this seems very ridiculous. Maybe I should just throw the towel and just give up. And for a very long time I did give up, but the only problem with that was I couldn't still unravel the reasons why I was so anxious and afraid all the time. And for many years it very much set me back. After a very long and aimless pursuit, I decided to go back and start from the beginning and try to figure out what was truly wrong. So, as a result, I started to meditate again, but the problem was it still wasn't getting any easier. But that was until I understood why it was so difficult to master. The reason why meditation is so hard is when you begin to meditate, you start to understand what's behind the curtain of your mind. If you've never taken a step back to look at your thoughts before, it's going to be a very shocking and triggering experience, and it's very easy to hate it. Meditation is like working out for your muscle. It can be hard to be aware of your thoughts. This is partially because you have thousands of thoughts every day. Furthermore, without understanding the intricacies and tactics behind mindfulness, you will have a tough time starting a meditation practice. And that was pretty much the case with me. It was just so tough to sit through the process of it. But instead of giving up as I usually did, I thought it would make sense if I were to write down and process every single thing that was happening after every single meditation session that I did. So I decided to write a journal and summarize every single thing. After an entire week of meditation and journaling, I categorized 5 typical subconscious thoughts that have happened to me and are most likely going to happen to you. And the first one is rethinking conversations in your mind. The one thing that I've noticed is that our minds backtrack and replay every single thing that happened in the conversations of our day. In the background, our minds replay every single thing that happened, and the worst part is we start to contemplate things that should or could have happened. We have no control over it because we're usually unaware when it starts happening until we do. We as human beings can have thousands of thought processes that could happen in the background of our minds without even being aware of it, and the worst part is it could happen for hours and hours and hours. And the second one is relationships. Relationships can both be a blessing and a curse. When you start meditating, you can't help but to think of every single relationship that you have and all the experiences as well, the good, the bad, and the ones that are currently happening. Your thought process would be flooded with all these kinds of situations and scenarios, all about the people that you know in your life. And that's not really a bad thing, but it takes a while to really center and suppress. And the third one is missed opportunities. Our mind spends 47% of it in the past or in the future, so it's very easy for us to contemplate over all the opportunities that we've missed in our lives. This causes anxiety to stir and mixes us up with so many emotions that we can't deal with at the time. And the fourth one is our daily tasks getting in the way. If you're terrible at organizing and you have no to-do list like myself, you're going to have a very hard time processing all the things that you have to do in a day. It's so easy to feel unproductive because there's just so many things that you have to do and you don't have a proper strategy of tackling it down. With all this being said, it becomes hard to sit for 5 minutes straight without thinking about the things that you have to do, at which time and at which hour. And last but not least, your fears. The most ironic part about fear is we're all afraid of something. Each and every human being has something that might keep them up at night. The best way to deal with this is to just accept and understand that this is our nature, this is who we are. And to be open with you, that's the hardest lesson that I personally had to learn. I had to accept the fact that I'm always going to be afraid of something. So should you. It's far, far easier to deal with everything that way. I had to learn how to understand how my mind works and how I should let everything play out as it should, because of how it's just part of the process and there's no choice but to deal with it until we reach the point where we learn how to subdue our thought processes. You must be thinking to yourself, well, that's no fun. That's very true. But after a couple of weeks, you will eventually learn how to concentrate and tolerate it. After doing it for a while, some of the most positive effects of meditation may become apparent to you after a few weeks. Most noticeable change is a calmer, more stable mind. As you train your mind to settle on a particular object, often your breath, during meditation, you gradually, gently learn how to stay focused. And as your practice paves the way to a clear, uncluttered mind, your jumpy mind and its distracting thoughts become less and less of a problem. Eventually, you may even stop wondering how long it takes for meditation to start working for you. If you find yourself still having trouble in this strange world of meditation like I was when I was starting out, keep in mind that it's a very, very long game. You have to stay patient and consistent, and before you know it, all the benefits that you've been promised will lay right before your feet. Thank you very much for watching.